Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam. It is because of the ICE agents and other federal authorities that law and order are being restored. Federal agents are arresting dangerous criminal aliens and they're removing threats from our communities. Once again, American families can experience the sense of safety as they see criminal aliens being arrested. Now, we knew prior to the November 2024 election that if Donald Trump gets elected, ICE is going to get the funding, the resources, and the power needed to catch criminal aliens all over the country. And the Democrats had hoped that Kamala Harris would win. They had hoped that Donald Trump would lose, but that did not happen. We are fortunate as a country that Donald Trump won the election. And if you remember, we have heard in the past anti-ICE rhetoric from Democrats. Remember? We don't have to go back too far. Just look over the last few years. Anti-ICE rhetoric coming from the Democrats. We've heard that. And now, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, now ICE is stronger than ever before. And they have the support from the commander-in-chief. And they have a strong DHS leader, Kristi Noem, Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, who is also supporting the ICE agents in every possible way. And so ICE is doing the job that they're supposed to do. And because of that, the Democrats, they are once again raising their voices against ICE. In this country, people have the right to speak what's on their mind. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I believe in freedom of speech. I may not agree with what someone is saying, but I believe in their right to free speech. But what is happening in the United States right now, it's a very serious issue. And I'm talking about ICE agents being attacked. There's rising tension and growing number of cases of attacks on ICE agents. It's a very serious issue. And my friends, it's important to keep in mind that the ICE agents, they are human beings just like us. They are people who live in our communities. They are human beings with spouses and families and kids. And so ensuring the safety of ICE agents and other federal agents, it's a top priority. We need to ensure their safety. And then understand one thing very clearly, my friends. An attack on ICE is an attack on the rule of law. And anyone who commits violence against ICE is also attacking the foundation of the rule of law in the United States. And so this matter has to be addressed very swiftly and very strongly. It's a very, very serious issue. Now, there's something very serious that happened in Texas on Independence Day. There was an attack targeting an ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas. Reportedly, some suspects have been charged with attempted murder of 2 ICE agents and a police officer in Texas. Also, lawless individuals assaulted federal agents at an ICE facility in Oregon. And both of these were ambush attacks, okay? So the one in Texas and the one in Oregon. And then once again in Texas, in McAllen, Texas, there was another attack. Someone fired rounds at a border patrol facility. Now these are all very scary news. And what it tells us is that there are forces out there that will do whatever they can to disrupt our lives and to create chaos and to hurt those who help restore law and order. And these individuals who are committing these crimes, these individuals who are creating chaos, these individuals who are disrupting the lives of people in the community, these individuals, they're very evil people. They do not wish to see the rule of law in America. And they will do whatever they can to inflict fear in American communities. And I hope that these lawless individuals and anyone who's providing them with resources to go out there and commit violence, I hope all these people are brought to justice. I hope all these people are arrested and charged and convicted and thrown behind bars. The law enforcement community and the Justice Department have a lot of work to do. They must arrest and charge and prosecute these criminals who are breaking our laws and trying to hurt our ICE agents. Time is of the essence, my friends. We have to keep our eyes on the main objectives. Mass deportation is a top priority of this administration. Mass deportation is a top priority of the American people. And anytime that there's a disruption in ICE operations, we as a country fall behind. Anytime that the ICE operations are disrupted, we fall behind. Every hour of every day is important because deportations will have to take place every day. These criminals must be arrested and deported, and that's an ongoing process. So these arrests will have to take place every day, and deportations will have to take place so that we can once again be a safe country, make America safe again. That's a priority. And here's one more thing that I want to talk about. The Democrats are trying hard to force ICE agents to take off their face coverings, to take off their masks. And there's a bill in Massachusetts that would force ICE agents to unmask. This is a legislative proposal, and this was introduced by a Democrat state legislator. So this legislative proposal, if approved and signed into law, would criminalize masks worn by federal immigration officers. Now, I'm not sure that this is even constitutional. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't go to law school. But my common sense tells me that a state law cannot criminalize face coverings worn by federal law enforcement officers. A state law, a legislation at the state level to criminalize face coverings worn by federal agents, ICE agents. I'm very confused by this. So if there are lawyers listening to this podcast episode, please share your thoughts with me. If you are an expert in constitutional law, if you know about this issue, if you can speak on this topic, I want to hear from you. Because I'm very confused. So what happens if this law passes? Let's say this law is approved. It's not a law right now, it's a legislation. So let's say that this legislation is approved by the Massachusetts state legislature, and then the governor of Massachusetts signs this into law. If this process is complete, what exactly happens? What will Massachusetts do if a federal agent is wearing a face covering during a federal law enforcement operation. If this legislation is signed into law, how will Massachusetts enforce this on ICE agents? I just don't understand this, okay? So if there are legal experts out there listening to this and you want to share your thoughts, you want to tell me if this legislation makes any sense to you, if it's approved and signed into law, is it going to be constitutional? I want to hear your thoughts on this, okay? So if anyone out there has expertise on this matter, on the legal aspect of this, please get in touch with me and share with me your thoughts, okay? You can go to my website, tausifanam.net. You can send me a message through my website. You can email me. My email address is tausif@tausifanam.net. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, X, and also on Truth Social. So get in touch with me, share with me your thoughts on this, okay? Because I'm very confused by this, okay? But here's one thing that I can tell you. We are seeing, and I'm sure you understand this as well, we are seeing an effort by the Democrats to force federal agents to take their masks off when they're out there conducting operations to catch criminal aliens. However, when rioters and looters were out there breaking the law and vandalizing and stealing and robbing and attacking law enforcement officers while keeping their faces covered and wearing masks, then we did not hear anything from the Democrats. They did not complain about it. Haven't we seen rioters and looters and agitators create chaos in many cities across the country over the years? And we have seen many riots and unrest over the years, all created by left-wing activists. And we have seen anti-police riots, we have seen anti-ICE riots and more. And we saw the rioters and the looters and the agitators covering their faces. They were hiding their identities. They were wearing face coverings and masks while committing crimes. Did the Democrats complain about that? Instead, the Democrat politicians, they said that, oh, these are peaceful protests. Remember that? The rioters, they're vandalizing property, and the Democrats keep saying peaceful protest. Democrats don't complain when rioters wear face coverings. Democrats don't complain when rioters and looters and agitators wear masks and hide their identities. But when federal agents wear face coverings while serving our country and catching criminal aliens, then the Democrats have a problem with that. And they want to force ICE agents to remove their face coverings. Do you remember how hard the Democrats pushed people to wear face coverings? It was just over the last few years. Do you remember how many Democrats supported mask mandates, even when people said that face coverings make them feel suffocated, even when children suffered because of the mask mandate, even when people with disabilities struggled to put the masks on and to keep the masks on? The Democrats forced people to wear masks. And I remember right here in my home state of Wisconsin, Democrat politicians imposed mask mandate on the people. And now the Democrat politicians want ICE agents to remove their masks. This is complete hypocrisy. And this legislation in Massachusetts, which once again I'll tell you, if you are a lawyer, if you have expertise on this issue, if you want to share your thoughts, let me know. Can a state law, let's assume that it gets signed into law. If it does, I don't know if it will. It seems complete nonsense to me, but it's Massachusetts. You don't know what the state legislature and the governor will do. If they sign this into law, how can they enforce this on ICE agents? It's just completely absurd to me. So, lawyers out there, if you're listening to this, I want to hear your thoughts. But I'll tell you, this legislation is absurd. It's hypocrisy. And I hope that this legislation fails in Massachusetts. People of Massachusetts, are you listening to me? If you are listening to this and you live in Massachusetts, if you are a Massachusetts voter, if that's where you live, if that's where you work, I want to hear from you. Massachusetts residents, share with me your thoughts. This is happening in your state. A Massachusetts state legislator, a Democrat, introduced this legislation to criminalize face coverings worn by ICE agents. And I hope that this legislation fails. And once again, I'll tell you, I don't think it's constitutional. But if you have expertise on this, if you're a lawyer, share with me your thoughts. So my friends, in conclusion, what I will tell you is we must continue to support our ICE agents. We must continue to support the federal agents who are going out there every day. They are putting their own lives at risk and they are catching criminal aliens. These federal agents are doing great work, and I hope that they continue to be successful each and every day. And I hope that they can go out there and catch these illegal aliens and deport them and make our communities safe, make America safe again. Those are my thoughts, my friends. And I always believe in the rule of law. I always believe in making sure that our communities are safe. And thanks to the Trump administration for doing what they are doing to catch the criminal aliens. So, my friends, once again, get in touch with me. Let me know your thoughts. My website is tausifanam.net. My email address is tausif@tausifanam.net. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on X, and I'm also on Truth Social. So I want to hear from you, and I'm very grateful that you are continuing to listen to my podcast. And I hope to be back again very soon with a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam.